Hi, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Risings. Welcome to your July 2022 horoscope. My name is Cailin, and today I'm going to be covering the major transits for the month ahead using tropical astrology and the whole sign system. I strongly recommend that you watch your ascendant sign, otherwise known as your rising sign horoscope, first and foremost, and that is because it will be the most accurate for you overall. Having said that, you can also watch your sun sign and moon sign horoscopes to give you a more well-rounded idea of what you can expect for the following month. And the sun sign horoscope will tell you more about your career and your life goals, whereas the moon sign horoscope will pertain more to your property and living circumstances, your relationships, as well as your emotional health and well-being. So now let's begin with the first transit for July. On the 2nd of July, Mars in Aries in your 6th house is going to make a square to Pluto in Capricorn in your 3rd house at 27 degrees. Now, we saw a conjunction between Mars and Pluto back on the 3rd of March earlier this year. It was also at 27 degrees Capricorn. So essentially, what you are experiencing in the first few days of July could be a continuation of something which cropped up for you in the first week of March this year. Mars and Pluto are both planets that rule you. As an astrologer, I am more of a traditionalist in terms of rulerships. So I like to look at Mars as a representation of you and what you are doing, but Pluto can represent what is happening on a more subconscious level. So when Mars and Pluto form a square, this is quite an uncomfortable transit, and I would imagine that for you Scorpios, this would be hitting you on a rather psychological level. So you may be feeling a little bit uneasy around this time, a little bit emotional, and for some of you, this could manifest as experiencing feelings of aggression, anger, I mean to say, flashes of rage. And in terms of the two houses that are the focus of this transit, we're really looking at what you're doing, which is Mars in the 6th house, and this square to Pluto in your 3rd house. So the 6th house represents your work, your responsibilities, your day-to-day duties, and also the 6th house represents your health as well as debts. Now, the 3rd house represents relatives, siblings, friends, and also co-workers and neighbors. And I suppose you could say the primary function of the 3rd house would be communications. So with that being said, you may be experiencing a communication breakdown with a sibling, with perhaps a cousin or an aunt or an uncle, or this could be with a friend or someone that you work with. Now, you may be quite unhappy with your current mental state, and this could be more to do with your mentality. So maybe you're wanting to shift out of seeing the glass half empty to seeing it half full. In some way, shape, or form, this transit will bring your awareness to an area of your life which is causing you some sort of discomfort that you have not addressed. So you either haven't consciously thought about this or taken any action towards this, as represented by the 3rd house, or this could be some sort of conflict or something that you're unhappy with in a relationship that needs to be communicated. So this is actually an opportunity for a lot of growth. And I'm saying that because Pluto represents the ability to wipe the slate clean, to regenerate, to tear old structures down and basically have a rebirth. So although things may be a little bit uncomfortable for you in the first few days of the month, I see this as an opportunity for you to put into words, as shown by the 3rd house, what is at the root cause of your discomfort. So perhaps you can reframe how you understand this transit to being one as a motivation for you to enact change. And the same can be said for seeing a doctor or taking care of some kind of health matter. So it could be that you are maybe even experiencing a health ailment. And once you actually um, articulate how you're feeling at a psychological level, this could see these symptoms start to ease, because sometimes health ailments and issues can be caused by what is going on at a deeper emotional level, or maybe it's psychosomatic. And just to share a little bit of what's going on with me personally, I have Mars in the first house, and Pluto has been opposing my Mars to the degree on and off for the last 2 years. So it hasn't created any kind of crazy health crisis. I mean, I have been a little under the weather the last few months. Nevertheless, the purpose of me sharing this with you is that I just want to tell you that Pluto and Mars hard transits are more about making changes on the outside, which are prompted by what is going on underneath at a psychological level or at an emotional level. Now, on the 5th of July, Mars is going to enter the sign of Taurus, and it's going to be there until the 20th of August. So, as I mentioned a little earlier, wherever Mars is going, whatever it's doing, whatever aspects it's making, this represents you and what you are doing. So, it's interesting that we have your ruling planet being in your seventh house, which represents your one-to-one relationships. I see this and interpret this as you being quite assertive or initiating something new when it comes to a relationship. Now, this doesn't necessarily need to be romantic, although it could be. I'll just run through a few different ways that this can play out. Given that Mars rules over your sixth house and the sixth house represents work, this could be you starting a new business partnership with another person, or maybe you are pursuing a new client. And I'm saying that because the seventh house is a business house in astrology, as well as a social house. So the seventh house represents one-to-one exchange, sales, clients, and business interactions. So this can see you going out to try and drum up some business. Maybe you're cold calling people. On a different note, for those of you who are in a relationship, this could see you and your significant other starting a business together. I remember when I had a client who had Mars in the seventh house, and it was, making a lot of like crazy aspects. And I was like, oh my God, like what's happening in this person's marriage? And then when I spoke to them, they were like, oh, my spouse and I are starting a business together. So, very assertive planets, which sometimes have a, bad reputation, can represent initiating something new or taking on a challenge, especially when it's in your seventh house. So, on a different note, this can see you pursuing an exclusive relationship with another person. So, maybe you're asking this person to commit to you. This could be that you're dating them and you want to stop seeing other people. On a different note, Mars can represent the severing of ties, or, breaking something or cutting something down. So you could actually be severing ties with your business partner. You could be severing ties with a friend or with a client relationship. And for some of you, you may actually be breaking up with someone that you are romantically involved with. And I do see this as you being the one who is in the driver's seat, so to speak, and that is because Mars is your ruling planet, so this is what you're doing. So Mars in the seventh house indicates that if a breakup is going to take place, it would be you who is initiating it or calling the shots. So I don't want to see any comments saying that I'm saying your partner is going to break up with you, because If that happens, that's totally your call, Scorpio. Now, on a different note, this could see you engaging these services of a personal trainer because it's Mars, and Mars rules over your sixth house, which represents health. Mars represents sport in all kinds, but this to me represents a sport where it's like a one-on-one thing. So it's either someone who is training you. So this could be in, I don't know, kickboxing, or I don't know, maybe you're going to start playing tennis with another person. Now, on the 13th of July, Venus in Gemini in your eighth house will make a trine to Saturn in Aquarius in your fourth house. Trines are what we like to see in astrology because they represent something going really well. They represent receiving help or support from another person. They can indicate a flowing energy and even receiving some sort of blessing or assistance from another person. And that is because trines carry the energy of Jupiter. And with Venus in your eighth house, you could be receiving financial support from another person, or you could have access to their resources. Now, on a different level, maybe you're going to be receiving emotional support from another person. In terms of fleshing this out, because Saturn rules over your fourth house, which represents your property and living circumstances, you could be receiving financial support from another person, and they could help you to secure a place to live. Maybe they're giving you money to put towards a house. I mean, look, they could be giving you all the money you need to put towards a house, but it could just be a little bit of help. Maybe they're helping to pay your rent, or they could be helping to pay for you to build a property, or maybe they have resources that will help you in terms of your property. So, for example, maybe they have access to building materials that they are letting you use, or giving you or gifting you, or perhaps they have contacts in the construction or in the building business, and maybe these people are going to help you build your house, secure some sort of foundation because it's Saturn. And on a different note, Saturn represents elderly people. So maybe you're receiving help from someone who can help you to care for an elderly person in your home. Maybe they're helping you help them transition into a nursing home or a retirement home, or maybe they just need live-in care or something of that nature. Lastly, like I said earlier, you may just be receiving emotional support from another person. Maybe this is coming through in the form of advice, compassion, support. This could be to do with family matters. This could be to do with looking after your family, whether they are elderly, sick, or you have newborns. Or maybe you're receiving advice and support from someone who helps to ground you emotionally, or maybe they're paying for you to have therapy sessions. Now, on the 17th/18th of July, depending where you live in the world, Venus is going to enter the sign of Cancer, which means it will be transiting your ninth house, and it will be there until the 11th of August. Wherever Venus goes, this is where we can experience some sort of enjoyment in life, things going well, receiving, blessings, or maybe even just enjoying your relationships with the people that the ninth house represents. So this could see you making a new friend who you meet overseas, or maybe they're of a different cultural background to you and they're visiting your country. You could meet this friend at a college or at a university, or even at a sacred place. So maybe this is at a temple or at church. And on a different note, you and another friend could be traveling overseas together, especially because Venus rules over your seventh house. You could be enrolling in college or university together, or you could be joining some sort of to say participating in some sort of spiritual or religious event together. Now, on a different note, this can indicate a new fling or a new romance beginning. And again, you could meet them overseas. They could be visiting where you live, but be from a different cultural background or be born in a different country. You could meet this fling at a college or university, and again, even at a sacred place or something to do with, spirituality or religion, or even politics as well. And of course, you could just be enjoying learning something new. Maybe you're learning a language, or maybe you're just learning about a different culture and enjoying exploring a different culture. Of course, it would be remiss of me not to mention that you may be traveling, even if it's just by yourself or with, someone that it could be your significant other, sorry, with Venus ruling over your seventh house. And with Venus in the ninth house, this represents pleasant experiences that are more refined. So you could be going to visit galleries or exhibitions or museums, or, watching the opera or ballet or some sort of performance, or maybe you're going on a winery tour. Now, on the 28th/29th of July, Jupiter is going to station retrograde in the sign of Aries at 8 degrees in your sixth house. So, Jupiter has been in Aries in your sixth house since the 10th of May. And whatever you have commenced or started, or whatever sort of come up between the 10th of May and now, you may have had the initial inspiration or motivation to pursue something. Maybe this was like the big dream, which is very Jupiterian. And now with Jupiter being retrograde, it's like, how can we put the wheels into motion? How can I get this plan off the ground? What do I need to learn to take this a step further? Or how can I integrate my existing level of knowledge on this matter into my daily life? So with Jupiter in your sixth house, the area of focus for you can be on work, your daily responsibilities and duties, your health. And with health, this could be, specifically speaking, your eating habits. And also, this could be to do with charities and being generous with your time and resources. So when Jupiter transits a house or aspects anything, we can see there being expansion of this thing for expansion's sake. So Jupiter in the sixth house can naturally indicate more work. And when Jupiter is retrograde, it can be an even more intensified workload. So we're doing way more in this department. Your workload can increase quite dramatically while Jupiter is retrograde, and it's going to be retrograde until the 28th of October, and it will be retrograding back into Pisces for a little bit, and then on the 20th of December, it will re-enter Aries and finish up in May 2023. So this can see you pouring a lot more energy into your work, and because Jupiter rules over your fifth house, this could be those of you who own your own business. Because Jupiter rules over your second house, you may have to invest a lot of money into your business, or put a lot of your resources that you already have into your business. Now, you may have simply taken the first initial steps to start looking at working for yourself, or starting a business, or growing your business. And now this can be a time where you are reducing how many services you have available, how many products you have for sale. So the retrograde can see you streamlining these processes, especially when you've just started a new business. A lot of people can be tempted to just say yes to every opportunity because they don't want to miss out. But maybe now you're going to be a little bit more selective with what you do with this business. And some of you may be trying to work on paying off a debt or a business loan of sorts. And even if you don't own your own business, same can be said for workload increasing, but trying to curb how much you take on, or perhaps there's just a very time consuming project where you're just pouring all of your energy and resources into that. Now, with the sixth house representing your health, you could be going on some sort of health journey because Jupiter rules over journeys. So maybe you started some sort of health kick, or you started researching and learning a lot about a health issue that you have, or maybe just the medical industry in general. And with Jupiter ruling over your second house, this can see you, and this is a trigger warning, by the way, working on freeing yourself because Jupiter rules over freedom. Sorry, what was I saying? Jupiter rules over freedom. So maybe you are trying to free yourself or liberate yourself from a food addiction or from an eating disorder. And I have every confidence that this transit with Jupiter through your sixth house can help you with your health just across the board. It may take you until around Christmas time when Jupiter re-enters Aries to get to the level of progress that you would want to see. That's not to say that you can't achieve these milestones beforehand, but I just want to sort of take the pressure off you with knowing that the best that Jupiter has to deliver to you with it transiting your sixth house is yet to come. Sometimes it can take the whole of the Jupiter transit for us to really be able to reap the rewards and see what kind of blessing Jupiter has given us. And just to reiterate, Jupiter will finish up in your sixth house in the sign of Aries for another 12 years in May 2023. Lastly, with this transit, you could just be working on habits that you've gotten into. Maybe you're trying to rein in your spending habits, or for those of you who tightly control your purse strings, maybe you're trying to not be so overly controlling and be a little more indulgent. Of course, please remember that this is a general reading, so not everything is going to apply to you, but just take it as it comes. Now, on the 31st of July, we are going to see the Uranus-North node and Mars conjunction take place, and this will be in the sign of Taurus. Uranus and the North node will form the conjunction at 18 degrees, and then we'll have Mars trailing behind at 17 degrees. Uranus and the North Node only form this conjunction once every 15 to 16 years. So it's a pretty big deal. This is one of the most exciting transits for the whole year, I would say. And just remember that when we have these conjunctions take place, they indicate a new chapter starting that can span until we see the next conjunction. So everything that I'm about to say next doesn't necessarily have to occur on the 31st of July. This could unfold over the course of the next 15 years. So essentially, this is occurring in your seventh house, which represents, as I mentioned earlier, all of your one-to-one relationships and personal connections. So this represents your romantic partner, significant. Oh my gosh. Oh, it just froze. Can someone just comment in the chat that you guys can still hear me, that everything's okay? Ooh, that was very scary. Can you guys hear me? Just going to wait till someone replies. Yay, thank you so much, Michelle and Rarebird. Terrific. Okay. My heart stopped. All right. So with this conjunction taking place in your seventh house, and the seventh house ruling over relationships, your marriage partner, significant other, business partnerships, your friendships, and clients as well. This can see there being some sort of new development which takes place around the 31st of July, if not on the day. So this could see you forming a new relationship or a new business partnership or even a new friendship. And this could be totally unexpected. This could come out of the blue. I imagine that you would be the one initiating it because we've got Mars so close to the conjunction. Having said that, if your descendant is at 18 degrees exactly, it could be that that this person is initiating this new connection with you. I imagine that they would be very different to you. You could hit it off straight away, and some of you may experience a sudden download of information when it comes to what you should do within this relationship, where to take it next. Now, of course, this can indicate breaking up. Okay, so this could be you cutting it off. Again, I would think that it would be you to break it off rather than them because Mars is your ruling planet. And if you are going through a breakup during this period of time, whether this is romantic, whether this is a business partnership or a friendship, please know that it's because something new will be entering your life, and dissolving this connection is simply making way for that. And the reason why I'm so sure that something new or someone new would be entering your life is because the North Node is here. Wherever the North Node goes, it brings something new to the house that it transits. And just a little note on this, if you are a Scorpio rising or Scorpio moon, to a lesser extent a Scorpio sun, and you are single and looking, you can see a new romantic relationship take place while the North Node is in the sign of Taurus. So this could have happened anytime since the middle of January earlier this year. And also I'd give it till July in 2023 when the North Node leaves Taurus. So there is hope for single Scorpios who are looking. I digress. This can see you having new clients come through or having a sudden download of information when it comes to new services that you want to offer or a new way of doing business. Now, Uranus represents new innovations, technology, new inventions. It represents receiving the whole picture, so getting the full download of information. And then again, the North Node represents something that is new, and the North Node is also connected to something that is artificial. It represents technology, and Mars rules over engineering. So some of you may have invented something. You may have created something. You may have engineered something new. You could have done this with another person, or perhaps you're taking your new invention or creation to a client. You could be trying to sell your idea or your concept or a product. This could benefit a large group of people. This could be something that is extremely new, very progressive, very innovative, to the point where it is quite shocking. And this could pertain to finances or resources, as indicated by the sign of Taurus itself. And because we've got Uranus here, this could be a complicated, interconnected system, but it could solve a very important problem. And I'm saying this because the 18th degree in astrology is the Virgo degree, and that rules over conflicts and problems. So this could be a solution. So there's very exciting energy at the end of July. It's very potent. You may start to feel it 1 to 2 weeks before the transit or before the conjunction on the 31st of July, and the energy can be with you for 1 to 2 weeks after until the first or second week of August. I would certainly be paying attention to whatever is taking place around this period of time. Take note of the people that you're meeting, the new clients that are coming through, people who want to be your friend, people who you're attracted to. There may be a a very sudden, like, lust at first sight. It could even be love at first sight. Uranus can have this impact where we just are like, boom, like suddenly my whole world has changed. So when we have this conjunction in the seventh house, I really do perceive this as being some sort of new and potentially life-changing connection or relationship that you are establishing. And so, Scorpio, that's all I have for you for July 2022. If you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Enjoy your month ahead, Scorpio, and I will see you guys in August. And thank you so much for those of you in the chat who are showing me support. Bye.